Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Bricks King podcast, where I'm going to bend your ear about Lego, review those amazing bricks of plastic, and discuss what is new and up-and-coming around the Lego world. I'm your Minifigure host, Matt. Let's build on it. Welcome in, everybody. How are we doing today? Episode 234. That's such a good thing. Like, just repeating those numbers in sequence there. 2, 3, 4. It just works. Anyway, today we have a special episode. If you didn't know from the title, we are going back to bricks of the past. Can you believe it has been over a calendar year since we've done one of these? And I've been meaning to go back, and I've had it on my schedule, on my planner. I was like, I need to do one. And today is that day. So we're jumping back into a year, well, was important for a number of things, right? So before we get into all the Legos, let's talk about 1988. Margaret Thatcher became the longest serving British Prime Minister of the 20th century in 1988. That is wild. The first Walmart Supercenter opened in Washington, Missouri. That's absolutely wild. Here in the United States, the Supreme Court ruled that your trash that is placed at the curbside is unprotected by the Fourth Amendment. Believe it or not, that seems a little bit weird. George H.W. Bush was elected president over Michael Dukakis. About 50 of every 100,000 Americans were victims of property crime in 1988. That seems like a big weird thing. But look. You just never know. August 8th, 1988, the lights went on for the first time at Chicago's Wrigley Field, which had been the only MLB park until that point where night games were not played. It's a big deal. It's a huge deal. Here's another one. The gallon of milk that you purchase costs $2.30. A loaf of bread was 60 cents, and a dozen of eggs were 89 cents. Holy cow, how far we have come. Anyway, so that is your 1988. That is where we are at. And where we are going now is we are revolving into the Lego 1988 community. And I will tell you this. The Lego community for 1988, the sets that were available for 1988 are nothing like you see at this current time. So let's look at what Lego had to offer during 1988. I mean, there were literally only 81 things that were available, and we're talking about anything from books to Castle to Dacta to Duplo to Fabuland to service packs to gear to space to Technic to Town, which is currently City. So we're going to go through the big ones here, and we have to go through Fabuland. I've realized that Fabuland is a big deal to many people out there. So Fabuland had a long run, believe it or not. In as far as Lego goes, it had a long run. It wasn't anything like Nexo Knights. It wasn't Johnny. What was his name? A bigger than minifig guy. I can't remember his name right now. Anyway, so you have a rowboat with Lionel Lion and Hannah Hippopotamus. Nice. The beauty salon you had the Catherine Cat in her kitchen, of course. The caravan and rowboat, which you had a bunch of peeps. And then you had your rowboat, and it seems like they took the pictures on like metallic sheeting to be able to get the effect of water. You had an amusement park. You had Clive Crocodile on his skateboard. You had Hannah Hippopotamus on a picnic. Hello. I mean, these were big things at that point in time. These were mainstays in the Lego catalog where people are like, you have no idea what you're getting into, but these are incredible. And just recently, I would say in the last calendar year, roughly, I've really started to learn more about Fabuland and how big of a deal it is to Lego designers, to certain AFOLs, not all, but definitely some of them where they're like, oh, wow, this is incredible. So Fabuland, it was available. It was popular. It was a thing. But look, there are very few things that do anything like Castle has done in the Lego inventory. We know that. You want to go back to the yellow castles, that's fine. You want to go to gray, more modernish type castles, that's fine as well. We're going to talk Castle here, and we've got a number of sets here. We've got 7 we need to talk about. The Knights Challenge 1584. You had a plethora of minifigs with a couple horses, and they're just jousting. It was a perfect little set. It had 130-ish pieces. It was beautiful. If you were looking to buy it right now, you would have to spend over $400 on 130 pieces. Just put that in the back of your brain. Let that sink in for a moment. The next one here is 6016. It is the Knights Arsenal. And you have obviously a knight dude. You have a horse, you have a carriage, and he has some weapons. That's pretty much it. The Castle Guard, 6035, back when it was 4-digit numbers. You have a guard, you have a knight that is on a horse. That's it. Literally, that's it. The twin arm launcher. You have a 2 catapult launcher, 2 minifigs, and a well-dressed horse. That's it. The Forestman's Hideout. It is a brick-built tree hideout, super duper tiny. You get a pair of minifigs here. You get some archers, and that's about it. Not a whole lot else that's going on with it. The Black Monarch's Castle. Look, we all know castles are huge. That's the big thing. It had 702 pieces. 6085 is the set number. This was a big deal. This was a beautifully built castle. Majority of it was black, big elements and stuff like that. You had a jousting arena in the front. You had an army trying to beat down the door. I mean, there was a lot going on. You had a drawbridge. I mean, just tons of things really working here. Now, if you were planning on buying this new right now, today, in May of 2022, it's going to cost you $2,700 USD. It's incredible. If you want it used, you're talking about $250. Not horrible. Not horrible at all. I mean, the castle thing, it never goes away. It always shows its face. And no matter what you do, it just, like I said, it does not go away. It doesn't matter what you do. There's no way to get rid of it whatsoever. So let's move on to space. Now, we have a few different things here. You got like space value packs, you have minifigs and stuff like that. I'm going to move away from the value pack, but the minifigs are kind of interesting here. You do have 6 different minifigs from the different regions of the space. That works out well. I don't think I had this one as a kid, but I definitely had a minifig pack as a kid where you had multiple minifigs from different waves of a theme. So that works. But getting into the big things here, 6770, the Lunar Transporter Patroller. This thing had the light and sound, which was popular back then. It was a giant 9-volt pack that they put on top of sets or into sets and stuff, and that works as well. You had one minifig here. You had some satellite dishes that were there, and you basically had a lorry type design with a trailer, so articulated lorry. Not horrible. The twin-winged spoiler. What are we spoiling? 6828. Not much. Super duper tiny. One minifig, but You got a trans blue shield on the helmet to go with the blue helmet. The Space Patroller 6830. What you get here, you get a tiny, super duper tiny Space Patroller aircraft that is flying through the air, and you get a yellow-bodied minifig. The Strategic Pursuer, because they're chasing people, right? 6848. This one was a little weird to me. It's 54 pieces, but it looked like a mech, but a really bad mech. It had a clip in one arm, and then it had a hammer in the other. Now, I do miss the 1x2 tiles that had the yellow arrow facing forward. That is definitely one of those things that I truly enjoyed as a kid. I still have a number of those at this point in time in my adult life, and I just can't bear to use them on anything because they are so nostalgic to me. Then we move on to the Hovercraft, 6875. The Hovercraft, this used those weird type engine / blaster pieces that they used that had the blaster hanging underneath a 2x2 plate that had studs on the top that had holes on top of the studs. I remember this vividly. I don't even need to go back and look. I remember it in my brain pan from when I was a child. They used 2 of those here to be your propelling force that is being used. And then they also use these weird 4 modified plates that angle until there is an anti-stud that can hold a 1x1 round plate to make it look like different colors and stuff like that. Not a whole lot here, but not bad. The Alienator 6876. This is meant to be a walking beast. It reminds me of Star Wars, something that you would see there. You have an all blacked out minifig that is going on here. I can't remember the theme at that point in time. I think is it Blacktron maybe? I think it's Blacktron. Anyway, so you do have that. So it's in all black, and then you have kind of that trans neon color that works there as well. Then you move on to the Crater Crawler. I know this one. This is Futuron. I remember this super duper awesome in my mind. 6885. We're talking about something that literally has 4 wheels, 2 tiny in the front, 2 big in the rear. It's articulated. It is a cool looking build. Simple, amazing, awesome, and it works. Then we move on to the monorail accessory track. If you are somebody that has this is worth a fortune at this point in time. Literally only 46 pieces. It is well over $350 here in the United States. You can make a killing, without a doubt. Then you move on to the Interplanetary Rover, 6925. Well, this thing is made up of 8 wheels, believe it or not. 6925. Super weird looking, and you have something that is articulated in the middle, but you have something that meets like Mooncrawler, obviously rover, but like a moon vehicle mixed with Lego City, mixed with a weird version of space. It's just kind of all over the place. You know, you've got your flying vehicle that your minifig is flying in, and the other one is driving the other vehicle. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Then we move on to the Message Intercept base. 569 pieces. 5 minifigs are a part of this. The set number is 6987. If you're buying it here in the United States, you're going to spend a cool $1. If you buy it used, you could probably get it for under $300 if you're lucky. Now, this is a huge built-up base. It's black. It has the translucent neon type colors that are here. This is meant to be something that is Blacktron. It is a big deal. You have a ground vehicle. You have a flying vehicle. You have your different sections of the base where you have your satellite dish area. You have your quarters where people are living and such. I like what the build is. I do. And I never built this, obviously. I was 4.5 at the time, 5 years old. Doesn't quite work for my timeline. Anyway, it's a neat build. It's built on a base plate. I mean, can you really hate it at that point in time? I really honestly don't think you can. So we're going to move on to the last 2 things that we're going to talk about, and we're going to talk about Technic. There's something that I miss from my childhood, and that is the Technic figures. 8712, you had multiple figures in here. They're supposed to be incredible, amazing, awesome, wonderful. They need to do more of that. I mean, seriously, bring back the Technic figs, Lego. There's a way to do it more modernized, and just do it. Then we move on to the Roadster, which is 8832. I do like this. We're talking about a 2-in-1 build here. You have a Roadster that has 4 wheels, which more looks like a dune buggy / weird version of a 4-wheeler. And then you do actually have a Roadster where there's 2 wheels in the front and 1 wheel in the rear. You have your excavator. It's not really an excavator. It's a front end loader. This is the wrong terminology for what this is supposed to be. It had 326 pieces, or has 326 pieces. Very bare bones Technic. Nothing like you expected out of Technic today. Then we move on to the prop plane 8855. Prop plane 2-in-1 build here. You have your Cessna type build, and then you have your more like an A4-ish type aircraft build that is going on here. Pretty nice. 570 pieces. That works for me. I do like the way it looks. Then you move on to your test car. It could be a test car, or it could be a test Jeep. You don't talk about bare bones? Dude, this had it all. This was completely Technic bare bones. But hey, I mean, Lego Technic would not be what it is today without those kind of things in the past where they're like, you know what, maybe it wasn't the best thing, but we tried. Guys, we tried. We tried our best, and we did what we could. So let's move on to town, which is currently city. And we have the Air Canada jet plane 611. It was a promotional set, 92 pieces, super duper tiny. Then we move on to the town bank, 1490. We've seen very limited number of banks that have rolled through the Lego City or town theme at that point in time. A very few of them. This one is tiny. It reminds me of more of like a fire station at that point in time. A lot of red, some white. You have your transport vehicle out in front for the bank and stuff like that. Not bad. It's going to cost you $1,200 if you want it new, though. Your Victory Racer, that's just a standard F1 or Indy car style, if that's what you're looking for. Your town minifigs, that's just a bunch of minifigs you have here. You have a helicopter worker, a fireman, you have a nurse or doctor, depending. You have a civilian, you have a motorcycle cop, and you have a mechanic. Good stuff to have around your city. Then you have the road signs pack, which has a bunch of different things. Stop, speed, parking, don't do this, don't do that. All kinds of good stuff. Your flags and fences, that's huge, obviously. Flags, fences, you already know what I'm talking about. The trees and flowers, you already know what I'm talking about. The old trees, not these new versions of trees. Now we move into more of the sets. And the Holiday Villa. A Holiday Villa. 205 pieces, has 2 minifigs. It does have a base plate that is printed in cobblestone for the driveway. I absolutely love the way this looks. Not a fan of the building maybe so much, but absolutely what this has to offer. It is old school Lego. It is old school classic, and that's all that honestly really matters. Then you move to the MedStar rescue plane. We've seen something like this done before, more so. I remember it being done for the mail plane in the last, 3 years, 2 years, whatever that may be, but that is definitely a thing. Beautiful little plane that you have here with a stretcher. You have your nurse or your paramedic, and you have your pilot. Then we move on to one of my favorites, the stunt copter and truck. With a giant N, not and. It's a giant N. You have obviously your helicopter that you're stunting with, and then you have your articulated lorry as well. This comes with 2 minifigs. This is by far one of my favorite sets that I recall having as a kid. It was such a beautiful set. If you want it new, it's going to cost you a lot of money. If you want it used, maybe not so much. It retailed originally for $17, and here in the United States, going for roughly about $21. Well, it's going for $21. It may not be here in the United States. Most of the times that's Europe. Moving on, we have the Metro Park and Service Tower 6394, 620 pieces, and you have 6 minifigs too that are unique here. You have your parking area and stuff like that. You have multiple level parking area, by the way, where you can lift up your vehicles and such. So that is nice. You have your little Shell station that is here where it's actually Shell and not Octane, because Octane came a little bit after that. The Victory Lap Raceway 6395, and what this was your Shell-based Formula racetrack, your street track that was going on here. You had multiple cars that were able to be used. There were 4 of them. You had your camera guy. You had your tower guy. You had your Shell tow guy that was taking back the broken cars and stuff like that. You had a grid. This was beautiful. Lego, I need you to do more things like this. I know it was super duper tiny. But this was incredible. Give me something retro to this degree. I mean, we're talking about 13 minifigs, 600 pieces. You have your drivers, you have your spectators, you have your mechanic, you have the guy in the tower, you have your cameraman, you have your official that is starting the race. Give me something like this. I don't care. Honestly, I don't care that the retail value on this originally was $60. If it is $260, I'm in. Full on, I'm in. So the last few sets here, we have a Sprint Racer, which is a Formula vehicle that has the Shell branding on it. You have a tiny little tractor, which would be a Build-A-Bag by this point in time, which is a blue tractor. The Fire Chief's car, another Build-A-Bag type deal. You know, your tiny little, bag that you're buying. The Blizzard Blazer, I love this. I didn't have this, but for me as a kid, I made my own plow vehicles. I put them on dump trucks. I put them on tractors, all that kind of stuff, because, growing up in the Northeast in the United States, a lot of snow in the winter, and my God, I ran away with it. The Vacation Camper. Could this be where the camping series started? Could it? Could it honestly be where the camping series started? We'll have to do a deep dive into that and talk about all the camping stuff, especially because I'm a giant camper. I love camping. I just love getting away. Anyway, so what you have here is you have your car, your brick built car, your brick built trailer. Not a whole lot where you can really sleep and put your minifigs and stuff like that in, but it does work. It does come with 2 minifigs, kind of plain Jane style that is going on here. Your police helicopter. Decent helicopter, something that looks like relatively what we get now with Lego City, which you guys are going to hear about on the next episode. It's probably about the same amount of pieces, same size pretty much. The Fire Chief's truck. I love the old fire stuff. The old wheels, the big, what look like chunky wheels because of the wheel well piece that they had, the 2x4 wheel well piece. I love the way that was done. I love the old fire uniforms. It just works for me. And then you have the opening gate in the back. The crane truck. This is meant to be a tow truck. Elongated base, a nice little truck that you get to be able to build with. And then you have your road and trail 4x4. This is not a 4x4 like what am I thinking of? Like an ATV. This is supposed to be like a monster truck, except it's a tiny monster truck. It feels like a Power Wheels monster truck. You have dual wheels on each wheel assembly. So you have 4 wheels on each side, which comes out to what? 8 wheels. It's just a bunch of wheels. You do have a nice minifig that has a monster truck that is on his torso, so that's not bad at all. And the thing is, this is only 81 pieces. This is something tiny. You want it new? You can get it new for $146 US or $11 if you want it used, which your minifig is going to probably look like crap, but if that doesn't mean anything to you, then you're good to go. So that's going to wrap up this beautiful 1988 Lego deep dive bricks of the past from 1988, because, well, you don't know where you're going unless you look at your past, and Lego has done that very, very, very well in the past, and they have really taken things of the past and moved on into the future with newer concepts, but have kind of taken some of the ideas with different things throughout. So it is, again, very important to take a look at and things, and can we not look at the nostalgia factor? All of us have a nostalgia factor. I have like a decade of nostalgia, and then I have an extreme nostalgia of like 4 or 5 years, maybe. Yeah, probably about 4 or 5 years, maybe 6 years, depending, of Lego sets that have come out, and I was just like, oh my God, I remember this vividly. This was an amazing build. I love this. Why? And, everybody has their own personal Lego story, so you all have your own personal, favorites and times, years, themes where Lego was just like the thing to you, and it was just absolutely incredible, and nothing else was important. You may have liked Dacta, and that was one of the themes from 1988. We didn't get into it, but that may have been one of the things you're like, oh my God, I was so incredibly into it. Maybe not. Maybe it was Fabuland. Maybe it was something else. Maybe you are just now realizing what you have missed to this point in time. Hopefully not, because there's a bunch of episodes behind this, 233 of them, probably more than that, actually, technically, but numbered episodes. Dude, there's so many different things that are out there, so many things that are coming in the future, so much on the backlog. Just find you're happy. That's all I'm telling you to do. And the reason I say that is because May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Make sure you're taking care of that thing, between your ears. Make sure you're taking care of your grape up there, as we used to call it when I was in the military here in the United States. Make sure you're taking care of that thing that does so much for you every single day. If you need help, reach out. Friend, professional, whoever, family member, find somebody. Talk to somebody. You're not alone. I promise you, you're not alone. If you heard my episode, I don't even know when it was at this point in time, with Brick Huntress, and I talked about my mental health struggles. I didn't even know I had mental health issues. And then things crop up and you're like, wow, I need to see a professional. It's important. Take care of yourself. Absolutely take care of yourself. Make sure you are good upstairs, because if you're not good upstairs, you're not good to anybody. But I will tell you this, because I love every single one of you, whether you hate me some days for talking about this Lego set or that Lego set, or my opinion on this Lego set or that Lego set. I love every single one of you. My DMs are always open. But lastly, I'm going to leave you with this. If you're somebody that is struggling with mental health in any way, shape, or form, and you feel yourself going down that ramp into the deep cavern, I want you to help yourself, help your family, help your loved ones, help your cat, your dog, your lizard, whatever. You've got somebody with you. Absolutely you do. And you're going to hear this all month. Absolutely you are. Here in the United States, reach out to 800-273-8255. They're not going to make fun of you. They're not going to say you're an idiot, you're a moron, you don't know what you're talking about. Do it. Do it for you. Do it for a healthier you, and start that process. That's all I can say. I know that has to do with some other things, but it's mental health. Take care of it. It's important. You're important. Every single person that you touch in your daily life appreciates you one way or another and win. So don't go down that road. I love you, people. You are awesome. So until we meet again, I'm your Minifigure ghost, Matt. Let's bet on it.